Breaking news, breaking major news out of Idaho. Bryan Kohberger and his defense are trying to delay his upcoming trial. Whoa, folks, new documents out, and they want a continuance. They're saying Kohberger will not have a fair trial if they don't get a continuance. Oh my goodness. Now, I have a lot to say about this. We predicted this a couple days ago after it's been revealed about Dateline, having their wonderful segment. And I think Dateline did the best job ever on this case as far as the timeline and details that none of us knew prior. And, the judge said he's going to get a special counsel, special prosecutor to investigate how Dateline got this information, implying that it either came from the prosecution or maybe a law enforcement, or current or former somebody with the prosecutor's office. Someone gave that information. Ann Taylor, Bryan Kohberger's defense attorney, is using that as one of the grounds to delay the trial. And also other ridiculous stuff. And we'll talk about the other ridiculous stuff in a second. But let me share some details about what is going on with this case, and then we will further discuss. Check it out.
First of all, Kohberger's defense team has filed a motion to delay the August trial date. In the court documents, Kohberger's attorneys argue that they need time to review evidence and to complete their investigation. The defense says that proceeding with the trial would violate Kohberger's constitutional rights and cited the irreversible nature of the death penalty case. The motion raises concerns about the recent publicity, including the Dateline special and an upcoming book the defense calls prejudicial. The trial is still set for August, and we'll bring you any update on how the judge will rule on this request.
And here is more details here. Kohberger defense asks judge to delay Idaho murder trial after case details leak. Attorneys for Bryan Kohberger, the man charged with killing 4 University of Idaho students, asked the presiding judge to postpone the long-awaited murder trial this summer in Boise, citing disclosure of previously unreleased case details that may have violated the court's gag order earlier this month in an episode of NBC's Dateline. Led by attorney Ann Taylor, Kohberger's public defense team filed Tuesday for the delay just 2 months before the scheduled start of jury selection to kick off the trial. The defense request is a 40-page brief that posted to a state court's website Wednesday afternoon, came less than a week after Judge Hippler invited a formal request to consider appointing a special counsel prosecutor to investigate the source of the leaked information. The legal filing signed by Taylor referenced the need to protect Kohberger's constitutional rights to a fair trial, including to provide enough time for the defense to review all outstanding investigation materials to effectively prepare to defend their client. Any conviction and sentence resulting from a capital trial beginning in August 2025 will be unconstitutionally imposed and therefore vulnerable to reversal on direct or collateral review. The filing read, as detailed in this motion, moving forward with a capital trial in August will infringe upon Mr. Kohberger's constitutional rights as counsel requests more time to review discovery, complete investigations, and prepare for trial. The defense has yet to file any request for an appointment of a special prosecutor. Folks, and then we know all about this, the victims and everything like that. Idaho is just one of 27 states to impose capital punishment, which Kohberger will face. Oh my goodness, folks. Now let's discuss more about this matter. All right, Kohberger feels he won't get a fair trial because of publicity. I think that argument is hogwash. There are other defendants around the country that have gotten fair trials who are way more popular and known than Bryan Christopher Kohberger. Not everyone knows the Kohberger case, but almost everyone knows the P. Diddy case, which we're covering on JLR Investigates. And they were able to impanel a jury within days. We all know about Alec Baldwin, the Baldwin trial in New Mexico. They were able to impanel a jury in a few days, and their pretrial publicity on both of those individuals is through the roof. More than this. So I think that argument holds no weight. Also, a lot of the victims' families, they've already set up their travel and expenses of going to Boise because no one is from there, and they changed the venue hundreds of miles away from Moscow, Idaho, where this crime occurred. What are you going to just do? Cancel all that at the last second? Some people can't cancel. I booked. So it means for me covering the case, if it gets continued, I'll have to cancel my reservations. Though I have free cancellation. Thank God I did that. Because, we were talking about going there and possibly that Ann Taylor will throw other tricks and craziness up her sleeve. My point is, a lot of people have already booked. Probably journalists out there. And some of you spectators and everybody, because book fast before those places go away, if you're going to be there. Some trial watchers, podcasters, YouTubers, a bunch of people plan to go, right? So that sucks for everybody, right? That has to rebook and you don't know when a trial date. So I don't know if the judge is going to do this. My point is, it's too much time. Plus, Ann Taylor saying all the other reasons why she wants this thing. Like, she didn't prepare and, it's too complex, the case, and, things like that, evidence and discovery issues. Hello, she's had over 2 years, ladies and gentlemen, 2 years to handle all that. So I think she had that in the works as it is, and now she's capitalizing off the Dateline thing, which I feel Dateline did nothing wrong. And we'll see what happens with that. I think possibly they might be prosecuting. But do you think the judge now will do it? Do you think Judge Hippler will honor this defense request? I would think no, and I hope no. But guess what, folks? I'll give you my honest opinion. I think it's 70-30. I think 70-30. And 70 would be the trial goes on as scheduled. But I do think there's a, because of the Dateline stuff, which, again, I loved that Dateline episode. I watched it 6 times. I'll probably watch it a few more times before the trial. Dateline did the best ever job on this case. Dateline, is it because of Dateline? I think that just gives, them some weight and validation and some merit to their argument. A little bit of merit, I will say, and as much as I know that Kohberger is guilty, but who wants this trial delayed? Because it goes back to an innocent man, an innocent person, okay? An innocent person. Do you think an innocent person wants to spend more time in prison or jail than they have to? I think not. He's already been in jail for 2.5 years. You think an innocent person would say, okay, Ann, well then let's wait to 3.5 years to have the trial and stuff like that. And innocent people want to get this over quickly. Now, speedy trial, most people waive it. That's understandable. Because they know they'll probably be tried, but not years and years out. But in this case, remember from the very beginning, according to Jason LaBar, the public defender in Pennsylvania, that he wanted to get to Idaho quickly so we could resolve this quickly, more or less, that type of talk he talked. And that totally did not happen with this case. It's been delayed. So I think the judge is going to say no. We'll see what happens. We're monitoring the situation, defense strategy. And I also think they have some other tricks up their sleeve that we've been talking about, like Bryan Kohberger needs a mental health evaluation. He's not competent. Things like that, or even go as far as Kohberger at one point firing his own attorneys at the last second so he can go pro se as a ploy or some sort of publicity stunt to delay this further and further. I don't know what delaying will do, because the inevitable is firing squad if he's convicted, and if he gets convicted, which I feel it is, he's going to get the firing squad. So they're just trying to save his life and let him live as long as possible. What about the victims? I am JLR Investigates. Up to the channel, hit the notification button. As of now, I'm going to Idaho. See you there. We'll be covering this case, me and Magnolia, outside the courthouse, inside the courthouse, giving you boots on the ground coverage. This is the channel you should watch. We'll talk soon. JLR Investigates. Stay tuned.